Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas NM, and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. My name, of course, is Seth Betoff, and I'm back after a week off. I guess technically I wasn't even off. I was out at Open Cup last week, so uh, staying busy, actually doing United content last week for a couple different spots, and had the great opportunity to work for the NPSL last weekend. So that was interesting. But joining me this evening, final boss still apparently, who is, but this one, fortunately, is not taking the next 6 months off, as far as I know.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right.
I do know we have the baby. I will take a couple weeks off and then go from there, but that's not until August. So for sure, I will not be here August 13th. I know that for a fact.
I thought you wanted to get on for a minute.
I thought I'd get on for a minute, but at that point, I just want to spend time with my baby, and that's it. But yes, I'll still be the final boss for a while, and then I'll take a hiatus. I'll be Roman Reigns at this point.
Well, there he is, folks, the one and only Earl Nieto. Earl, how you doing, buddy? We haven't really talked outside of our group chat a little bit. You and Jacob held down the fort last week. Yeah, did the show later in the week. I had some other real life obligations that I had to go take care of. My son had an activity at school, and I didn't get to hear either of your thoughts about Open Cup and FC Juarez. There's just a slew of news that came out last week. I mean, first up, Open Cup, New Mexico United 3-1 win. I'm sure you guys touched on it on Thursday night. So what was your big takeaway from that match? And then we'll jump into mine as well.
Yeah, so my big takeaway from FC Juarez, or from the Open Cup, was I was nervous the first half.
Okay.
Especially considering that United has too much talent to not have any goals the first half. So I was a little nervous going into it, especially at halftime, thinking, okay, we're 0-0. What the heck?
Mm-hmm.
But then obviously halftime subs happen, and so do the goals. I mean, I think we scored 3 goals in 4 minutes or something like that. Then kind of a soft penalty. It was a penalty, but a soft one at that. Kind of a boneheaded move, definitely. Overall, I mean, we beat a lower level team pretty handily. I think we gave them the benefit of the doubt to play the first quarter, the first half, and see what they had and just fill them out. And then once we got filled out, then it's off to the races for us.
Well, you said you're a little bit nervous in the first half, and I can see where a lot of people would think that. And for me watching it, now we obviously came close a handful of times in the first half, going off the post, a couple other shots that just missed. So it's not like we weren't pressuring the goal, but I think what I took away from it, watching it, talking with Ken Sickinger of the Journal, is that you watch United play, and this was a lineup that I felt was a very strong lineup for United. Now, yes, we didn't have a true 9 in there. As great as Brucey is, he's not a true 9. But you look at that lineup, and Quill was really taking this seriously. But I think what surprised myself and a lot of people, not knowing a lot about Lubbock, was just how physical of a team that they were. They had some size, they had some physicality, and they were in there bumping and banging with our guys the entire first half. And I think that kind of caught us off guard a little bit, because you could see us at times not really get into the flow of what we wanted, and instead we're reactive for as much possession as we had in that match. But hats off to Coach Quill and the substitutions that he made. That definitely changed the outcome of the match. But for me, there was one big negative from that match, and I'm glad that we saw Jackson Dubois out there playing. I'm glad he was getting the opportunity, but he did not match up well out there on the right back side with I can't remember his name now, but the left winger for the left midfielder for Lubbock. And while he did make some good tackles and some good recoveries, it just wasn't a good matchup, and he didn't necessarily acquit himself terribly well throughout the night. But I'm glad to see him get the experience. But I am glad to see Go ahead.
I mentioned it last week as well. I mean, I love Jackson Dubois. Do I want to do this now? No, I don't. No, I
Okay.
don't. No. Okay, yes, I do. He's the only academy kid outside the Albuquerque area. So to see Jackson get his first start, I was super thrilled with it. He was really good. Jacob. But yeah, Jackson was. I mean, he was solid in his first start. In his first start, he was definitely solid. Like I said last week, if you listened last week, cool, thanks. If you're back this week after listening to me and Jacob ramble last week, thanks. And if you're not a soccer fan, also thanks. Yeah, so we talked about it last week where Jackson needs more time. He needs a lot more time to gel with the first team and get the timing down. But once that happens, he's going to be on point. He's going to be good. It's his first start with the first team in a weird match. Like you said it. I mean, Lubbock brought their A game.
They really did. And thank you, Harry. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Josh Gonzalez from the chat. I like him. Not perfect. Speaking of Jackson Dubois, plenty of room to grow. Great story. But absolutely, you watch some of the things that he did on Tuesday night, and he was absolutely pushing forward, putting himself in position, and was able to get the ball up that right wing, which is great. But I think you could see what Coach Quill was wanting him to do. But I think that also left him out to dry just a little bit. And like I said, I feel like that the left midfielder, that left winger, whichever position you actually had him in there for Lubbock, was really, really good. He had been their star of the tournament so far. But as a whole, United played well. We saw some things that happened very good. We did see a bad pass at the back. We saw a couple things, that kind of iffy, but I was pleased with the lineup. I was pleased with how we played. I was glad to see the offensive explosion there for those 4 or 5 minutes, and I'm glad that we didn't take our foot off the gas. And I agree with that penalty, soft, but it was a penalty, legitimate foul. Avion had him from behind. The ref's going to give that every time. But New Mexico United obviously moving on to the round of 32, where we get to host RSL. And I don't know how deep into this you guys went. Obviously, we still have a little bit of time before this match, but the professional debut, so to speak, of one Devin Sandoval. Where does Devin fall in terms of rooting in this match?
I saw this question on Facebook, and I kind of scoffed at it because where does Devin fall?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he played for RSL. That's where he got started. That's where it all got started for him professionally. But at the end of the day, where's his address?
I mean, where is his address? Do you know?
Actually, I can't say that.
Okay.
Yeah, like Jacob said right there, it's New Mexico United, and it's not even a question. He still comes to every match at home, sometimes away. He still bleeds United. He retired kind of early because of the condition that he had going on. But at the end of the day, you look at it, Devin is New Mexico United true and true. There's not a question about it.
And Mugdev, to your point, it's just a talking point. I saw it. I thought it was an interesting question, just to see what people thought about it. But no, I think Dev, given his support and his love for New Mexico and his ties here, yeah, I mean it's black and yellow all the way. I don't think there's anything else. But I just thought it'd be an interesting talking point. And to look at where RSL is this year, they're sitting, I think they're sitting fourth in the table in the Western Conference right now. So they're having a pretty decent early season so far. I don't know how seriously they're going to take this matchup because we know how the MLS teams do. We know how they handle the Open Cup. We know that they don't really look at it seriously until they end up in these positions where it's going to be MLS against MLS. But when you've got the new format this year, you've got MLS coming in with only 8 clubs. At this juncture, I mean, you got 20 USL clubs remaining. And there's a very real possibility we see one or two clubs make another deep run this year. And I'm excited for this match for a lot of different reasons. But number one, it's got to be the fact that we get to host an MLS club in Albuquerque. Now, I don't believe the club has announced where that match is going to be yet, but you got. I didn't see anything. I know they've announced that tickets are available, and I've been looking through all of my announcements, but unless I missed it in one of the emails, and Earl's going to double check me on this, it is at the lab. Okay. I wasn't 100. I thought it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. But I think that's a great opportunity for New Mexico United. Did we? My question though, Pete said it. Okay, was that this week or last week? My guess is yesterday. That'd be my guess. So I mean that's fantastic news. That really is. I would say I didn't see anything in my emails about it, but that's really fantastic. To see a MLS club come into the lab. Now, to be fair, this is going to be a very quick turnaround because the Ice Ups play on that Sunday. So it's going to be a very quick turnaround to get that pitch ready. And this is going to be a pitch like RSL has never played on. Now there might be a handful of players who's played on similar surfaces, but I just don't know. Is this going to be a detriment to RSL? Could this actually be something that plays into United's favor? The pitch itself, not just the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, RSL they draw similar numbers in terms of crowd size. I went through and they draw 12, 14. I think the most they had was 19. They have a similar environment over where they're at. But the pitch, it's gonna be different, especially with the Isotopes playing on Sunday, and it's not it's not like a one and done game. They're on a 12-game homestand at this point. So I'm kind of surprised to see it at the lab because of the 12-game homestand. So even if you look at the timing, I mean May 8th, that is 2 weeks from now. The Isotopes will have played maybe 10 games by then. That's gonna wear that field down. So I think it plays in United's favor because we're used to it. Last ditch defending, by the way, Jacob will be here soon. He has a family and he's running a little bit late. Blame it on Jacob. He's listening though, so he definitely heard your comment. But yeah, so I think the pitch will definitely favor United just because of the familiarity that United has with it, especially at this point of the season.
Jacob, to your point there, I just scroll back and double check. It was not on the original post. There was a quote tweet later on saying it was going to be at the lab. But yeah, so I think it's fantastic. And I will say I was slightly disappointed with the draw to see that, when we do beat RSL, we will have to go on the road to either Colorado or NYCFC2. At this point, looking at what we know so far, I can't imagine Colorado beating NYCFC2 because Colorado's just terrible. And I'm really not fond of the idea of going back to the East Coast, particularly for a midweek game. So I honestly think I'm going to be going in and rooting for Colorado Springs in the other half of this bracket, just so that we have some sort of an opportunity to go up and see, the matchup in Colorado. But looking at this, the Open Cup, the round of 32 as a whole, I believe 5 of 8 MLS clubs get to host in this round, and then only 2 of 8 have the opportunity to host in the round of 32 or the round of 16. So I think it's a huge win for lower leagues and for USL. And I really have a feeling that I think MLS Next Pro is not going to get past the round of 32. I would like to think that, but it'll be interesting to see what happens here in a couple weeks for the next round of the Open Cup. Earl, any early thoughts on the draw?
Which one? The one we just watched a couple days ago?
Yeah.
I liked it. It was very interesting. It definitely left out one outlier team. Like Loudon, who got the shaft end of the stick, but then so did
North Carolina.
North
They have
Carolina
Phoenix.
picked up. But
Yeah.
then so did the team going up to Louisville, Lou City,
Lou City. Yeah, going up to Seattle.
going up to Seattle. I mean, that's a tough. Just in general, that's a tough trip because there's not really any direct flights from Louisville to Seattle. So you definitely have to take a couple connecting flights. But I like the way the format was for the draw, where it definitely left out one team that would have to travel. I'm just happy it wasn't us.
Yeah, that is very true. I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see another Open Cup match here in Albuquerque. So Justin, to this point here, quite a few teams got shafted as all regions outside of one group. So there was actually, if you go back and listen to it, I believe they said there were 5 groups. It was either 3 or 5 groups that fell outside of the geographical plans simply because of the way that the tournament fell. So it wasn't just one. There were a couple of others that did get kind of geographically jumbled, I should say. I will say that southeastern group with Atlanta and Charlotte, like that's a pretty good regional draw right there. That group's going to be interesting to see. I think Tormenta has a chance to advance once again. And I would really like to see that happen. They've got a lot of great things going on down in Statesboro, Georgia. So be really interesting to see what happens there. But moving right on, there was another big piece of information that came out last week, and we've been hoping for something. We've been hoping for some news, and we got it. New Mexico United announced another international friendly, the 3rd in club history. This time, we've stolen the partner from Little Brother down south of here. FC Juarez coming to New Mexico. FC Juarez is one of the top clubs in Liga MX. They've only been around for about 10 years, and they've made the journey up through the Liga MX pyramid. They're now in the top tier, and this to me is a fantastic job by the front office to get this taken care of. And I think this is going to be a huge draw, no matter where this, given the fact this is a midweek match, which I know you hate, Earl. This to me is a really big deal. I think this is bigger than either of the other two, if you ask me. But Earl, in your mind, what sort of draw is FC Juarez, and what does this say about the reach of the club to get a club of this stature from North America?
So the FC Juarez draw is a big deal. FC Juarez is a huge team in Mexico. So, I mean, it's a big deal to have a big team coming in. I said it last week. I'm not a fan of midweek matches for multiple reasons. One, the outside living fan that does not live within a stone throw of Albuquerque is kind of on the bad end of the deal, unless you're Jacob, where you can live at your work site. And I threw that in there because I knew he was hopping on. So unless you're Jacob and you live at your workplace, then yeah, it makes a difference. But if you're not a stone throw away from Albuquerque, then it kind of sucks because you have to travel and then travel home and then be at work the next morning unless you're off that Thursday like Jacob. But the reach of the club to be able to attract this, I mean, this had to have been something in the works since the Mondo Moreno days because there's a big pool to pull that. And then, I mean, Armando Moreno having ties with that club, then it definitely encourages people.
Quickly, I have no El Paso friends, as evidenced by the fact that Phil and Eighth Notch and Seriously Loco will never ever come on this show. I have no friends in El Paso. I can guarantee you that. But no, I think
it's because Phil's a coward.
Earl with the strong words. Jacob, what's your take on the FC Juarez announcement? I know for me, this is a truly exciting moment for us to see another quality side come into New Mexico.
Yeah, no, you guys hit it on the head. We kind of chatted about it last week some, and yeah, it's a. Sorry, you got me just walking into the place. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I kind of wish it was a different League MX team and not the same one that our little brothers are connected with. But at the end of the day, it's extra shiny for you, buddy. Um, at the end of the day, it's still a win. It's still exciting. I think Cardiff City was still probably the most impactful for me or most exciting for me. It's that was a team that just got relegated from the English Premier League, but still had a huge name factor behind it because it was in the Premier League the year before, and it was our first one. But no, this is big. I expect that crowd, even though it's a windy Wednesday and Earl complains about all the Wednesday matches. I still think that that's going to draw a huge crowd, and it's going to be packed in there.
I said it last week. I don't want to hear it. I did say that last week that even though it's a Wednesday, it will still be packed, just like it was for Sunderland.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can say that. I don't know. Some people may have the argument that FC Juarez is not, but they're of the clubs. To me, I think they're one of the more recognizable ones because of the impact they've had in such a short amount of time. Now, are they like the top club? No, absolutely not. But it is big, as Josh says, for North American football.
Yeah.
Jacob, of the Liga MX teams, who would you rather see come in if not FC Juarez?
No, it's not that I didn't want to see. The only reason why I don't want FC Juarez is because of the little brother connection that they have with El Paso. I'm very happy that it's them, and obviously, like Tigres or maybe Santos Laguna would have been one that would be kind of in the range of people that or clubs that might come.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're going to get Tigres or Monterrey or any of the big giants, but I'm happy with it. It's just annoying that El Paso can be like, oh, well, we had them first. Oh my gosh, a bit there. And other than that, it's great.
So Jacob, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So when I was living at my other house and it looked like I was on the floor, you guys always question me about if I'm on the floor.
Right.
There's a really good question in the chat, and it is.
Oh, sorry, I can't see the chat from my phone. So.
No, I got you. I got you covered. Is Jacob in a truck stop men's bathroom?
Yes, I'm not really sure. Not sure who his last ditch defending is. It's probably Robert because he changes his username all the time. No, I'm actually at a church, Robert. Thank you.
All I know is last ditch defending equals Earl's top supporter or top Earl supporter.
That's what I figured. I gotta do some digging and see, but I'm pretty sure that's probably Robert, and I won't say anything until I find out if it's him or not for sure.
All right. So moving right along, there was one other piece of news that came out from the club over the past few days, and that was the announcement of 4 brand new academy players: Malcolm Starr, Marco Lara, Lionel Bencomo, and Diego Sarabia, all from New Mexico, all signing to the academy and all being eligible to play in every academy match this season. Jacob, I know this was an important topic for you this evening. Earl, not so much because Earl hates kids soccer. But Jacob, what for you is so significant about this, and what is so important about the club making this a priority announcement for them?
Yeah, I just think that academy and the opportunity it gives kids, some would say just in the Albuquerque metro area, the opportunity to further their soccer career and possibly move up to an academy contract like we see with the aforementioned Jackson Dubois, or just a way to kind of get their feet wet and move on to college or whatever the next step may be. And so for these kids, especially every time they get announced, like really in all reality right now, when they get announced, that's pretty much the only time you really hear their name, unless they do get an academy an academy contract where they can play for both the first team and the academy. And so when these players gets announced, I think it's important to give them some shine here on the podcast, because it's really the only time that they get their name out there, unless you're a diehard and you're going to all these matches and the academy matches. And so until the academy playoffs come, you just don't really know who really is on the academy team. So whenever there's an announcement like that, I just like to make sure that they get a shout out and let them know that it's really cool that they get to go do this and further their chances with the United Academy.
Obviously, the New Mexico United Academy has produced quite a few talented individuals, and they've gone on to various different collegiate programs around the U.S., or even moved up into the professional ranks, as we've seen with Christian Nava. Earl, you seem to have a problem with all of this. Is it the announcement itself? Is it where the kids are coming from? What is the opposing take? Because you guys are going back and forth at it quite a bit here in our group chat before the show. So, Earl, why do you hate the kids?
Yeah, Earl, why do you hate giving kids a chance, depending on where they're from? Huh?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last part.
Depending on where they're from, why do you hate giving kids a chance at a free scholarship to an academy, a professional academy, that they can further their skills and possibly go on to do bigger and better things in the soccer universe? And one of us, not going to say which one, but one of us doesn't like that.
So it's funny you say that I hate kids soccer. For one, let's start with that point.
I didn't say that, to be fair. That's it.
Yeah, I know. It's this dickwad right here.
Also, Robert, fuck you. Sorry, go ahead.
So, before I carry on, actually, I'm just going to address your comment right away, Seth. I'm going to pull in a little bit closer, because this shirt might look a little familiar to you.
No, it's not, because they never let me on the board.
Yeah. Well, that's how much I hate kids soccer. I got this shirt while I was on the board before I had any kids in my life.
Earl, we're fucking with you, bro. We know you don't hate kids soccer. We're just giving you a platform to voice your concern about the academy.
So, where do I start here? How much time do I have? 30 minutes. Okay.
Hey, you guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I hopped on the stream a little late. You guys haven't even talked about the NCFC match, right?
Not yet.
No.
Okay. So this will be Earl's time to get mad. And then the next segment, when we talk about that match, will be Seth's time to get mad. And I'll just laugh the whole time.
So here's my deal. And I'm going to try to play nice. I really am. Because you said it a while ago. My feeling, I'm not going to say what I said in the chat, in the text, but my feeling is kids outside the metro area. And if David, if you're in the chat, I'm hoping to God you are. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I will own it. My feeling, my personal opinion, not the opinion of Somos Mas, just my personal opinion, is that kids who do not live in the Albuquerque metro area do not stand a chance to find an academy contract, or do not stand a chance to be looked at by the academy.
For 500 stars.
He's on YouTube. I don't think there's stars on YouTube.
They have super.
So yeah, so that's my personal opinion. Is see, and I have a script written out. I could read it. That's fine.
Earl prepared a sermon.
I did. Speaking of which, I'm about to go get baptized.
That's what that is. Good job.
So I don't have much to say because someone said it's dangerous. It's treading dangerous waters or whatever. I don't know what the bald guy said down there.
All I was saying was, look, you can you can have a concern, but to base like a full on solid opinion on something without knowing any of the or all of the facts, anyways, can be
Yeah.
dangerous. And
And I get
so, like one thing that drives me nuts about this conversation is
that we're having it.
how can they like it would be impossible for them, or it'd be unreasonable for them to go to, oh, I don't know, Vegas or like Fort Sumner or Clovis or Tucumcari and expect that kid to be able to make it to Albuquerque for the trainings, or to ask that kid's parents, hey, can you move him to Albuquerque for the trainings? So a lot of the times they probably just don't even ask because that's a crazy thing to ask. So yes, it's going to heavily favorite the kids that are in the Albuquerque metro area and our surrounding areas because that's where the team is and that's where the academy is based out.
Okay, so all right. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna read what I have written down.
Makes me excited and nervous at the same time.
We might get canceled. We might not. Good thing we already have season passes.
I mean, we'll just take yours away if we're being honest.
I have mine in my room, so we're good.
I will break in and steal it. Apparently, I'm pretty good at breaking into things.
So I did some research in the little bit of time that I had between this starting and me eating dinner and putting my kid to bed, and it's been an afternoon for sure, as Jacob probably knows.
Yeah, I'm podcasting from a church, Earl. It's been a day. Trust me.
So, of all the academy kids signed this year, or that are on the academy this year,
Mm-hmm.
I asked this question to you earlier, and it kind of is what started the whole domino effect. Did you get a chance to look at how many kids are from the outside region?
Earl, I'm podcasting from a church. It's been a day. So no, I have not looked it up. I'm sorry. You did
Okay,
that.
good. Well, I did. Y'all know who it is?
You just mentioned him earlier, Jackson Buck.
Yeah, so one kid.
Okay, my point still stands, though.
All of New Mexico. So my thing is when the academy started, they wanted to give every kid in New Mexico a chance to play, to have the dream to play club soccer at a bigger level.
Right.
So why is that not possible for kids outside?
I don't
Because
think
it's
anyone's saying it
unreasonable.
isn't.
No, it's just most families are not going to uproot their whole career and life to move to Albuquerque so that the kid can train with the team.
Okay.
And also, you're talking about 18 spots. You're talking about 18 spots, right? For all the kids in New Mexico, like you're saying. Somebody's going to get left out, bro.
So let me ask you this too, Earl. When you're talking about the talent among New Mexico youth, particularly at the middle school and high school level, where do you think that they're playing intramural or intramural sports, or playing middle school, high school NMAA sports? Are they playing at the 1A schools, or are those kids who are good enough being brought into Albuquerque and recruited to come into those bigger schools? So then at the same time, you got to think too, if that talent is coming into the 4 and 5A schools in the metro areas, because because the competition
New Mexico
isn't there.
actually has a rule against recruiting kids. New Mexico has a rule against recruiting kids. You cannot recruit a kid from West Las Vegas to go play at Sandia.
That's cute, buddy.
Put that down.
That's cute. I mean, technically, yes, it's a rule, but
you really think that's not happening?
But like the kid I was telling you earlier, the kid with 32 goals, and I need to correct myself, he's actually a junior, not a senior. Yeah, that kid played against Jackson Dubois. So if Jackson's good enough to be on United, playing against this kid who has 32 goals. I don't get
What
it.
level of talent is he playing against? Is he playing
3A.
Is he playing 1A?
3A,
Okay.
4A, 5A.
So what school does he go to? Like, is he at a 3A school? Because if he's playing the majority of his games against other 3As, that's a different classification, whole different level of talent than you're seeing at the 4 and 5A schools. And
So
I did get a comment. 18 kids getting shot is better than no kids getting a shot.
which is true. I'm not saying it's not. But you just said 3A, so 4A, 5A, 6A are better than 3A, but yet Jackson Dubois, who lives 25 minutes from Albuquerque, has a chance playing at a 2A school.
I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying the majority of the kids who are talented enough to potentially go into the collegiate level are going to play at those 4, 5, and 6A schools.
Well, I think I've made a pretty good case on why it makes sense, and you're still not budging. So I don't know what else to say.
Anyways, let's move on.
I can guarantee you, if United went to this kid that plays in Vegas and was like, "Hey, if you move to Albuquerque, you can get a contract." It's a 50-50 proposition on if that happens. And if they do that countless times outside of the metro area and they keep getting told no, then why are they going to keep devoting time and effort to go to these places if they keep getting told no? So trust me, I can almost guarantee you that they know who this kid is that you're talking about. But something there is keeping them from doing it. What it is, I don't know. But you don't know either. And that's why I'm saying not knowing all the facts is dangerous. Because you can have this whole opinion created about why the academy sucks and how they don't give people other chances when you don't know if they're giving them other chances or not. It's one kid that you're basing it on. And that to me is ridiculous to come out and be like, yeah, well, so they didn't tell this one kid that I live next to a chance to go play. And because of that, I think it's stupid and they shouldn't do it or it has issues or whatever. Newsflash, everything has issues.
No, it's not.
So I don't understand. I don't understand why you don't like it.
Yeah, Seth just said it too. So playing at 4A, 5A, 6A schools is better than playing at 3A.
Yeah, that's how the world works.
But you have Jackson Dubois, who is in the Albuquerque metro area, if you count Moriarty that far, which is 25 minutes.
That's
who made it onto the United. Moriarty to Albuquerque?
Yeah, that's not 25 minutes.
Yeah, it is. I did it for a year and a half.
Yes. The East Mountains is part of what I would call the metro area. So yeah, he probably got a little bit of benefit about doing that. But he can also drive that 25 minutes to the trainings.
I don't know. I rest my case. Let's move on to North Carolina.
Justin Paris had a comment over in the chat talking about what San Diego FC did. I will post a link to it in the chat. San Diego FC has what's called a Right to Dream Academy, a fully funded residential school and football academy. So, I mean, that's a great opportunity for the kids out in San Diego. Now, whether or not the Somos Unidos Foundation and the New Mexico United Academy gets there, I mean, maybe it's a possibility at some point. We'll bring that up to Pete and see what Pete says. But you never know. Maybe it's a possibility for the club in the future. And Josh, the fact that we have such a depth of homegrown talent is a good problem to have. A lot of other states and academies don't have what we have, and I'm proud of it. Absolutely. Absolutely. You look at all the pay-to-play academies around the U.S., and yeah, this is something that a lot more places should be doing. And there are clubs with a lot more funding that could be doing a lot more.
Fucking Robert.
All right. Earl wants to move along because he's rested his case. Let's take a look back at North Carolina FC over the weekend. This was
all right. Seth's turn to get mad.
This was a match. Over the weekend, New Mexico United went out to the East Coast once again, and they decided to play at another barn burner. Came out with a 3-2 win over North Carolina FC, the team that just came back to the USL Championship from USL League One. And I don't know about you guys, and we were texting about it, and Jacob thought I was pissed at the group chat. But
no, you were just pissed in general.
I was just pissed. I was watching this play. I was watching the game here, and one of the things that really bothered me about this game was our insistence on playing out of the back. And the fact that every time we tried to do it in this game, it created all sorts of havoc, and we did not handle it well at all. We didn't handle it well against Rhode Island. We didn't handle it well at all against North Carolina. And you could see some of the mistakes that we were making, some of the opportunities that we were giving up in the defensive third. And the fact that we kept coming back in this was absolutely incredible. And I was so glad when we went away from playing out of the back, because like I get it. There's a reason to build up. There's a legitimate tactical advantage or tactical theory there, but we did not do it well at all. And if you say that we did, I don't know what you were watching, but we did not play well out of the back at all on Saturday. And there are a few moments that you can distinctly see problems at the back. And I don't think it was formation based. I don't think it was even, talent wise or confidence wise. It was just that we could not make decisions fast enough to get the ball out and break those lines. And
Can we talk about that?
And we'll talk about this right here. Will Seymour. I don't know what Will did here. Will stuck out his foot, missed the ball completely, and absolutely hung Alex out to dry. Like, massive mistake by Will here.
Can we fast forward a little bit and talk about our man of the match?
We'll get to that part, but I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm missing something. Like, did either of you truly believe that we played well out of the back?
No, but I think Seymour's my man of the match.
What, Earl?
I said no, but I think Seymour's my man of the match.
I know, and what I mean is elaborate, please.
I'm just poking the bear.
Okay. So I didn't think it was as like I didn't think it was a crisis like Seth was. I thought Seth was going to have a heart attack if we played out of the back that whole match. I look at it this way. Neither of the goals that we gave up were because we were playing out of the back. Either of those goals could have happened no matter what. And so, was it pretty at times, or was it pretty all the time? No, obviously wasn't. Playing out of the back can be very nerve-wracking and very ugly at times. At the end of the day, it luckily didn't cost us a goal in that particular match. The other two matches, one we just saw, Seymour with a very boneheaded, just complete swing and a miss. And then they built it up very nicely there. And Gloucester, so I'm gonna say something that could be controversial. I don't think it is because I have eyes. But Gloucester is my Sam Hamilton, Juan Pablo Guzman player of the year so far this year. I do not understand why he's getting the minutes that he's getting. He has not impressed me hardly at all this year. He doesn't bomb forward at all, which is fine. But if you're gonna be in there for defense, I don't know how you're giving up this play here and lunging and missing a ball by 4 feet and letting the defender get to the touchline or to the baseline and have
if you watch
all this
this right
space.
here, you watch this run across here, and both of those defenders pulled over. You've got Gloucester, and there's nobody in the middle of the box.
Well, but they had to shift over to I don't know who got the assist on that one, but they had to shift over because Gloucester sticks a foot in and misses the ball by, 17 feet. And so if Gloucester doesn't make that mistake, then everybody gets to stay home and they don't get to the touchline or to the baseline, and we're not in this predicament. And so, yes, it wasn't great play by the center backs either, but it starts at Gloucester. And so he just isn't doing anything for me. But the playing out of the back thing, like one thing I noticed that we started hoofing it long and the offense died. There was no offense until the end of the game. Hardly at all after we started hoofing it long. And that's why we're playing out of the back. And that's why Quill has talked about playing these kind of games. He would rather play a 3-2 match than a 1-0 match. And we've seen that the last 2 matches in league play that, yeah, we might give up a couple, but we're going to play out of the back. We're going to stretch them apart. And we have this incredible talent. And then this goal here is just freaking filthy. We have this talent that we can give one up and then we can turn around and get it back a minute later, which we did twice,
No,
essentially.
we absolutely did. I mean, there were 4 goals in 13 minutes in this match, and
Right.
and to the point of playing it long and it kind of killing the attack. Like, yes and no. I think you have to find a balance if you want to play out of the back. Do it, but you also have to offset it, because if you're not able to break those lines playing out of the back like that, then you have to find a way to break them and get the ball forward and create a little bit of separation instead of constantly inviting pressure. Now, again, I know that we're trying to invite the pressure and go on the counter. I understand that. But when you're constantly inviting and inviting and inviting, you're going to make mistakes. And we saw mistakes at the back. And like you said, we're fortunate that it didn't lead to any significant, issues or additional goals from North Carolina. But at some point, you have to get that ball forward. And if you have to, play, go over the top, if you have to play, in that style for 15, 20 minutes to break that line. And see, there's a mistake right here. Again, playing out of the back.
Right.
And so, like, you've got to find a way to loosen that pressure. Because if all you're doing is playing out of the back, North Carolina or any other team is just going to sit there. And they're going to continue to sit there with that high line. And here again, another mistake at the back. So we've got to find a balance there in order to make this work. And I don't think we've found that yet.
But I don't think we can get there if we just stop playing out of the back.
No, I agree with you. You can't stop, but you have to find a balance. You have to find a way to work it so that you can effectively play out of the back. And this goal by Sergio was absolutely phenomenal.
It was.
Really great strike by Sergio. But, again, you have to – this is a team that last year or the year before – I mean, really, you could probably go back to 2019. We would not have seen this kind of fight from this club. And not in this manner. I mean, we've got 2 back-to-back wins where we've come from behind multiple times to score goals, and you don't see the heads hanging like we have in the past. You don't see that let up, which I think is a huge nod to what Coach Quill is doing and what the character of this team is. And to see Sergio, who has not really gotten a lot of minutes this year, come in and make a quality play, make an impact on the match in the way that he did, I think is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, no, and that's, I mean, if we get past the playing out of the back stuff and just look at what has happened, if we go big picture, look at the last 3 league matches and really the season as a whole. How many matches do you think we've won 1-0? Because my guess would be not very many. And we already have 2 of those this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have 2 where we've scored 3 goals and come from behind to win. Those 4 matches, if it's any other year, probably the 2 that we were trailing are lost, and at least one of the ones that we were up 1-0 with is a draw, or that we won 1-0 as a draw. So to have the ability to hold on to those 1-0 games, to get down early and fight back, to give up a late lead, and eventually go down against El Paso in the 80 whatever minute, and then come back and win that one. I don't like, if we're playing out of the back and it looks ugly sometimes, it doesn't matter to me, because whatever we're doing is working. Now there's room for improvement. Obviously, I would love one of these 3-goal games to just be a 3-0 shutout, walk away nice and easy. But until, like, we're also only 6 games in. Like, and we're only 6 games in, and we have all but like 3 new players, 5 new players, whatever it is, that are really playing meaningful minutes. So I fully expect this team to just get more comfortable with the style and more comfortable with the decisions that they need to make, both with the ball and without the ball. And so to me, it's I mean, to get so like to get as frustrated as you were on Saturday with how we're playing, and obviously we didn't know we were going to win that one when you got frustrated in the first half, but I had this quiet confidence that like it wasn't over. Like that's the thing is when you can in past iterations it was hard for us to score. It was like pulling teeth to get us to score a goal. And when it's like that, when you do get down, it's easy to hang your head because you don't have that belief and that ability to turn the offense on and create a bunch of chances. But with the way Quill plays, these guys are just like, oh, we're down a goal. Cool, no problem. We can rattle off 2 or 3 in 30 minutes. No big deal. And because they have that belief, like we're not out of like the Charleston match. Yeah, we were out of at some point. But if we're down a goal, even if we're down 2 goals, if it's early enough, like we're not out of it. We are definitely still able to come back and at least earn a point. And because the team has that belief, I think it just has allowed them to play a little more freely. And that's why this mentality that everybody's talked about is there because we can score. Like it sounds dumb, it sounds simple, but when you have that belief that you can score almost at will, seemingly, at least versus North Carolina, it felt that way as soon as we went down, then the players are going to behave differently than if we're parking the bus when we're up 1-0 up and end up giving a goal and can't turn it back on. And so it's a huge change, shift in mentality, and it's been really, really freaking fun to watch.
Earl, how good does it feel to be on the right side of late goals this season?
Well, I mean, it feels good because I don't know.
Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I'm gonna be all over the place. Just focus on talking.
So yes, like I was saying, it feels good because I mean, for years and years and years, for 4 years now, 5 years, we're used to being on the other end where we give up the late goal and wind up losing it. So seeing us go down, then score, go down, then score, and then score again to take the lead in the 98th, I think the 92nd minute or whatever it was.
Yeah.
91st minute. It's nice. It's relaxing. I don't think I agree with the going down and trying to claw back into it type ball that we play, but
I don't think that's on purpose, for the record.
I mean, Coach Quill did say that he wanted to give us some entertaining soccer. He's definitely delivering on that promise.
Mm-hmm.
And that is certainly something that we can share, with everyone. We have had entertaining soccer, unlike some of our other teams in the West.
Where you at, Phil? Where you at, Phil?
This is where we stand currently. El Paso and Colorado, both down there at the bottom. El Paso did, in fact, pick up their second point of the season over the weekend with a draw against none other than Tampa Bay Rowdies. But these are two teams that just cannot figure out how to buy a win at this point. And realistically, you can probably lump Memphis 901 in there as well. But, you look at the bottom half of the table. I mean, Phoenix has not been Phoenix. Yes, they do have two wins on the season, but they're 1-0 wins. They're certainly not scoring like they have in the past. El Paso Locomotive, 6 goals on the season, and 2 points. Colorado has 2 goals on the season. So there are some problems in the Western Conference, and it's I don't know. I don't know what to say about little brother down there in El Paso, but I know that the souls are leaving the supporters down there by the river. So looking at the West, I mean, what is it like to be where we are right now? I mean, it's not often that we've been able to say, hey, we've won 3 in a row in the league. Just in general, there have been a couple times where we've gone on longer streaks, but 3 in a row or more is not familiar territory for us. I mean, again, Jacob, you mentioned earlier, it's still very early in the season. Where do you think this goes? Do you think we're able to maintain this through Open Cup season? Because that was a discussion that we've had in the past, that we've
I
had with
mean,
other people around the club.
go ahead, Earl. You wanna chat or no? No, you're picking at it here. Okay. Yeah, I think the depth of this team. Like I was talking to Itamar, the technical director, when at talking to him at the closing minutes of the Lubbock match, and we were chatting about a few things, and I said it's kind of sick that we were up 3-0, and then we bring on Marco Micheletto and Zico Bailey and Abu Denladi. And that's with Kalen and Nava. And up until that point, Denladi, and we had Brucey hurt earlier in the year. So, barring health, it really, I don't think, I think we could make a run in Open Cup and still succeed in the league. And honestly, much like Moreno's PK against Omaha, I think we're just going to keep going up. We're just going to keep going up. And first place, obviously, maybe it's going to be tough. Right now, though, if you look at the standings with the match in hand, if we can capitalize on that match in hand, like we were sitting first place briefly on Saturday after and before the late matches happened, and so I think where we're at now is where we're going to be the rest of the season. I think it's going to be. I mean, I think all three of us predicted us top three, if I'm not mistaken, including and actually Harry did too. I'm pretty sure, and I think we've done that pretty much every year. But this year definitely feels different, and the talent that's on this club definitely sticks out. And so, and I think we're just going to be fighting for those top 3-4 spots with the teams that you see there in the top five, because that top five is pretty stacked right now. But I feel pretty comfortable saying that we're not going to fall. We're definitely not going to fall out of the playoffs. I think was it Shadow Wolf. I think Shadow Wolf commented on our last episode and said that he was like 90% that we would make the 90 to 100% that would make the playoffs, and like 60 to 80% that we would make a home playoff match. And that's probably what in line with what I feel. I think we might be a little bit higher than that to make a home. I think it's probably like 100% to make the playoffs and like 90% to host a match, just because there's 5 teams up there that are all fighting pretty good. And if they all can continue that, it's going to be tough. But with the mentality that we've had and the players that we have and the depth that we have, I think we'll be right there still.
Earl, looking at where we're at now and the results we've had, particularly across the league, I have to ask, does your algorithm take into account Open Cup results? And where does your algorithm predict we finish?
So I haven't got that far into it yet. I was actually playing with it today, trying to figure that part out. Just because I expected this question to come any time now, and fucking Jacob.
Sorry.
Anyways, so
I saw you staring, so I had to do it.
So for those of you listening, Jacob just decided to take his phone and flip the shit out of it. But yeah, so my algorithm does not account for Open Cup or playoff standings so far. It's still a work in progress. I want to get it to that point. I think I can get it probably by tomorrow or maybe Thursday, Friday. But I don't know. North Carolina was North Carolina. It was a roller coaster match, and I don't think I want to do it with any other team. I think this is where the roller coaster goes, and I still have really good feelings about what's going to happen for this season.
So speaking of the rest of the season, we do have another match coming up this weekend. New Mexico United back on the East Coast once again, our final East Coast trip of the year, unless of course we have to go to NYCFC 2 in about a month and a half for the round of 16 of the U.S. Open Cup. But there are 4 unbeaten teams left in the league, one of which is our opponent this weekend, Tampa Bay Rowdies. Quickly, before we get into our Tampa Bay preview, who will be the last undefeated team standing?
Oh, that's a good question. 1 second.
So your options are Sacramento, Charleston Battery, Detroit City FC, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
It's tough. It's tough. I think the best of those teams is probably Charleston,
Mm-hmm.
but it would depend on schedules and stuff like that. So without digging too deep into it, I'm just going to say Charleston.
Okay. Earl, who do you think is going to be the last one standing?
Last undefeated would probably be Charleston. I mean, they're playing stupid ball at this point, beating everyone by at least 4. So I would have to say Charleston as well.
Charleston's next 4 matches: Las Vegas, Hartford, Birmingham, and El Paso.
Oh yeah,
They've got a pretty good chance of staying unbeaten through at least the next 4. Yeah, I mean, honestly, of these 4 teams, you'd have a hard argument going against either Charleston or Sacramento. I think it's going to be Sacramento, though. I really do. They're playing really good ball right now, and not to take anything away from Charleston Battery, but I think it's going to be Sacramento because, as we all know, Tampa Bay is going to lose this weekend, and they're going to lose their shot at being the last undefeated team in the league. And looking at Tampa Bay, obviously they're sitting 4th in the West on 10 points. Not quite Tampa Bay of old, but they are still playing well out there at Owl Lang Stadium. And looking ahead to this weekend, guys, 4 matches in a row. We've got wins going on. We got 4-match win streak. What happens on Saturday? Who are the key players? Who do we need to be watching for? Earl, let's start with you.
So I'm gonna start with Tampa. My players to watch for Tampa, really just Manny Arteaga. 4 goals in 6 matches, has a knack of finding the back of the net. He's my main player to watch. I mean, obviously there's a couple big names on the defensive line and a couple in the midfield, but overall I think Manny Arteaga is the big one to watch out for. And obviously on the good side, Greg Hurst. I don't know who else you could obviously put in there. I mean, anyone you name is going to be a good mention. But I think Greg Hurst coming off of a brace, that close to a hat trick. I think he's the one to watch on our side.
Jacob, who you got on Saturday? What's the key matchup that you're watching?
Yeah, those are good shouts. I think that what makes me nervous about Tampa is if they've got some frontline players, unlike North Carolina, that can really hurt you. Arteaga is a name there. The one that sticks out to me, he's kind of been a killer of us in the past, is Cal Jennings, formerly of Las Vegas. He's been in Tampa for a couple of years now. He has a nose for goal, and just makes me nervous anytime he's out there because he can pop up in unexpected places and he can finish from just about anywhere. I think Forrest Lasso is a name that we probably should at least give a shout out to. He's been a stalwart on that back line, aside from a small break when he went to the European country escapes my brain now. He went overseas though.
He had to go be the brother of Ted. That's all it was.
Yeah, he went. Yeah, he went overseas for a little while, but he's back. He's super talented. He gets away with murder a lot of the times. I don't normally agree with El Paso, but he had some plays in that El Paso match that I was questioning myself, but I was happy with it because it was against El Paso. And then a gentleman that we're pretty familiar with, Jordan Farr, formerly of San Antonio. We saw him give up, I mean, an absolute embarrassing, in my opinion, goal against El Paso from like 15 yards inside El Paso's own side. Javier Navarez scored that. But I will be happy to report here that goal, even though it was insane, is third in goal of the week voting. And I think that just speaks to El Paso's fan base's mindset right now. They just don't even have the energy to go vote for goal of the week. even when the goal is, I mean, probably the goal of the year. But here we are, and Greg Hurst sits in second, and Juan David Torres, who also shot from just past the midway line, is sitting in first. But Farr has been incredible for San Antonio in the past, especially against us and pretty much everybody that he's come up against. His form has kind of dropped this year. It seems like they haven't given up a lot of goals, but he's given up goals that I think prime Farr doesn't give up. So it'll be interesting to see how well he's playing as far as a shot stopping, as far as shot stopping goes. And I'm hoping that he continues this trend of giving up goals that he probably shouldn't give up, and we can get some by him.
Yeah,
and obviously, go ahead.
I would say Farr is one of those guys that he's had a pretty good last few seasons, and he's going to be, honestly, for me, he's going to be the key to them, because if, like you said, if he gives up those goals, if he makes those uncharacteristic mistakes like we've seen in a couple of instances this year, it could be, a bad evening for them. But I think it all starts with him. I really think it does.
Yeah, for sure. I think on our side of the ball, it's the same names that we've been talking about all season. Basically, it's Hurst, it's Micheletto, and then to me, it's the back line. It's, do we see Ryden back? My guess is probably not. I saw him at the Open Cup match. He had a pretty good sized brace on his leg. Was still not walking 100%. When I asked him how he was doing, he said he's getting better every day, but that to me didn't scream confidence. So he's probably another week or two out. And so, yeah, and then even if he's there, if because he's in that brace still, he's not going to be match fit. So to me, he's still out there a little ways. And so it's going to come down to Maples, and then do we have Seymour or do we have Herbert next to him? And I'm thinking it's probably going to be Herbert, especially after the gaff that Seymour had. Which, one thing I will say on that is that turf, the field looked great. We could not stay on our feet. We slipped and slid all over that place, and I don't know if that had a factor in what happened to Seymour. I know he missed the ball before he fell down. I could see what he was going to do. With the defender bearing down on the keeper, instead of passing it back to the keeper where the defender's momentum was carrying him, he was going to, change direction and come back, misses the ball, slips, and into Story. So I'm not going to put, it was a mistake, yes, but I'm saying I would expect it to be Herbert, not necessarily just because of that one mistake. And so I think it's going to be those two against the likes of Cal Jennings and Manuel Arteaga, and then if Micheletto and Reyes and Hurst can kind of tear up the spine of that Tampa Bay defense, those are the things that I'm kind of looking at.
All right, Earl, score prediction.
Earl.
So I'm actually not able to share my screen because I'm on my iPad today.
Earl.
But I did write things down. So both teams have a tendency to score. Obviously, we saw United put up 3 goals in 3 consecutive matches, including Open Cup. So that's a good sign. But Tampa Bay put up 4 against Rhode Island. New Mexico is yet to have a 4-match game, a 4-goal game. Tampa Bay also has a 5-goal match, which obviously, like I just said, United does not.
They've also been shut out, which United has not. So.
They've been shut out, which United has not.
Yeah, they haven't. They have had a game where they have not scored, and we have not had a game where we have not. Oh shit, we did. My bad. Edit that out.
I'm so glad you caught yourself, because as soon as Seth edits that, I'm gonna correct it by saying, yeah, Jacob said that United hadn't scored or hasn't had a shutout.
The Charleston match just completely is erased from my memory. So
Either way, based off of my algorithm that you want to call it,
I mean, it is.
Tampa's attack rating is 2.39, which is pretty good. It's one of the best in the league, only behind Lou City and Charleston, obviously. United's attack rating is 1.29, which is almost like, I think I saw it 14th or 15th in the league, which is not bad. It's not last place. It's not El Paso.
Colorado.
Actually, El Paso has a worse.
How Colorado has 2 fucking goals?
El Paso has it worse.
Your system's broken. I can't take your system seriously.
It takes into account goals scored or goals allowed as well. Goals conceded. So, this is the part that I don't want to say.
Yeah, do it. Do it, Earl.
2-0 for the bad guys.
Earl hates United. Talk shit about the academy. Says we're going to lose to Tampa. Earl is officially no longer a United fan. You've heard it here first, folks. So therefore, last ditch defending, you can have them. We don't. It's fine.
Actually, we need to talk about May 11th because I'll be there.
I'll be there May 8th and May 11th.
That's good for you.
I'll be spending May 11th with my mother, so
Meow Wolf night, buddy.
Yep.
I'm probably going to take Allie to that match, actually, but that's not even that. Seth, what's yours?
This is a tough one. It really is, and you guys know that I have no qualms against picking against United.
Robot Seth.
Tampa Bay, despite the fact that they are not the same team as they have been in seasons past, they're still a very good team. Jacob, you talked about the talent up top. You talked about how good they are and how all the different options that they have. Talked about how quality Jordan Farr can be when he's at the top of this game. New Mexico United 1-0 on the road.
Yes! What the fuck is happening? What is happening? Oh my gosh, Earl and Seth have traded places. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless.
I'm basing my predictions based. I always base it off of what I see.
I don't think there's a chance in hell we shut out Tampa Bay. After giving up 2 goals to North Carolina, who is supposedly a very good defensive team, but offensively is kind of lacking. I don't know how we don't give up at least a goal to Tampa Bay. So 3 in a row, baby. 3-2. Good guys.
All right, there you go. Earl, picking against United. Earl, how does it feel to be the bad guy?
Okay, so hold on. Earl, that was Earl's, if you want to call it algorithm, because that's what it is, that picked against United. So what do you say, Earl?
2-1.
Who?
He's going to do that thing where he's like, I don't know, 2-1 somebody.
So
2-1 United.
So I think the team that wins is going to be the one that scores the most goals.
And probably, I'm going to say that they wear yellow at some. They have yellow in their colors, probably.
Yeah.
So that's a good shout. I bet you win.
They also have an O in their name.
Okay. The Rowdies, sorry. I was like, Tampa Bay doesn't have an O, Earl. I got it.
He almost had you there. He almost had you.
Almost. I was very confused for a second.
It's a team that Lionel Messi has not played for either.
Okay. Yes, you're correct. And I bet you a team that Deion Harris has played for wins.
There you go. Very, very bold predictions from both of
I mean, we're on top of it, guys. We're on top of it.
Yep, definitely are. So there you have it, folks. There's our predictions for this coming weekend against Tampa Bay Rowdies out at Owl Lang Stadium. Coverage of that match is going to be on CBS. So big time national
CBS Sports Network.
CBS Sports. You're right. CBS Sports Network.
Let's slow down.
So,
Just
national broadcast for New Mexico United. And also coverage locally starts at 4:30 p.m. on ESPN Radio 117 with Adam Deal and Andy Hageman for the pregame show. And no, we will not.
That was a company man right there.
There you go. And no, New Mexico United will not be preempted by the NBA playoffs on Saturday. So we will have full coverage of the game from whistle to whistle. So be sure to tune in if you're not watching CBS Sports Network. For that. That being said, guys.
Speaking of the NBA playoffs real quick, Minnesota Timberwolves just went up 2-0 on Phoenix. So fuck it, Virginia Plaster. Sorry.
And LeBron's going to, get shut out. So
I don't care about that. I just care about Minnesota.
All right. I think that's going to do it for us this evening. Jacob, get us out of here.
Earl, you need any party thoughts? Any more shots at United?
Hold on.
Oh, he does. Yes.
So I changed my mind.
I don't know what he's about to change his mind.
I need to make a better score prediction.
Oh, I thought it was about the Academy, damn it. Go ahead. Score prediction. Go ahead.
3-2.
No, that's mine. Oh, 3-2, not us. Okay. I mean, I guess at least you're giving us 2 goals. I'm still concerned. Like it's a topsy-turvy, upside-down world, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Whenever you agree with me that the system of the Academy is broken, then I'll start giving you better score predictions.
I don't give a shit. You can keep giving crappy score predictions all you want. Somehow, though, I'm relatively sure that Earl has like the most correct guesses out of all 3 of us in the years that we've been doing this, and that blows my mind. I, however, am not going to do the research. If Shadow Wolf, if you want to go do the research on that, please be my guest. I'm not going to do it because I don't think I'm right or I don't think I'm the winner. So I'm not going to put in hours of checking just for Earl or maybe Seth to be ahead of me. So I don't care. But with that being said, Seth, you got anything else? No? Cool. Sorry, I'm fired up. Being on the road with the kids for 4 hours does that.
No, he's just fired up being in church. That's it.
That too. I mean, for
Which
sure.
I'm a little concerned because I haven't seen a single person walk by.
Yeah.
So
why?
Either you're doing this in the lobby during service, it's 9:20 at night and you're still in a church. I think you might have broken in, or your family left you. One of the two.
No, see, I have a key. I don't know why you're making that face.
So you of all the places in the entire world to do a podcast.
Okay, fine. If I must explain myself, Earl, we realized today that we really needed to do a Sam's Club run, and we can't do it any other day this week. So we had to go to Roswell today. So the kids get out of school at 4. We haul ass to Roswell. We do our shopping. We come back. We didn't get back to Fort Sumner town until I got on the podcast. So at that point, I have another 20 minutes to my house. So do I miss 20 more minutes of the podcast to go home? No, because I love you guys and I love the fans. And I want to talk about this beloved United team. And so instead of doing that, or podcasting from the car where I have no light, we've done that before when Maggie was born, remember, Seth? Very, very crappy audio or visual. So
I was there too, asshole.
I don't think you were there that night. My bad,
I
Earl.
was.
I just remember hopping on, and the video quality on mine was less than ideal for sure. So, therefore, I borrowed the key to the church from my wife because I had left mine at home and let myself in so that I could podcast from here. Make sense?
I still have another question.
Okay.
Where's your wife?
So we had two vehicles in town. So she dropped me off at the other vehicle and then she went home with the kids so that I could do this. It all makes sense, Earl. Trust me.
It does. It does.
It all makes sense. It does.
Can you
Okay.
get us out of here? I'm tired.
Yes. Now that we have wasted everybody's time with my life predicament,
One
I
more
want to
thing.
thank everybody. Want to thank everybody in the chat.
Oh, before
Yeah.
you do,
Yeah.
we didn't do our man of the match.
Yeah, you did.
We didn't. I did. I said Seymour.
You sure did.
Yeah. That's good. I'm good with Seymour being the man of the match. Fine. Who's your real man of the match, Earl? Hurry up.
Just get us the fuck out of here, bro.
Earl's getting yelled at.
No, I need to hear it now, Earl. I'm not leaving until you tell us the real man of the match.
We all know who it is. It's Hurst.
Okay, I'm okay with that. Again, thank you everybody in the
Just press
chat,
the stop
except
button.
for what?
I said just press the stop button. Stop recording.
No. Thank you everybody in the chat, except for last ditch defending. Fuck you, Josh, LAFC baby. Everybody else, thank you again. If you're listening instead of watching, please rate and review on whatever podcast player that you watch or listen on. And tune in again next week, Tuesday, 8 o'clock, talking about, well, if you ask Earl, we're talking about a loss. But if you ask anybody else, we're going to be talking about 3 points for New Mexico United. And I think that will then lead us into Las Vegas, I believe, will be the next away match that we talk about preview that next week. So again, next week, 8 o'clock. Until then, somos finos.